Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today we're going to have a fun project. I'm going to build something that I've never built before. And you guys are going to see me build something that's never been built before. And I haven't a clue how this is going to go. But what I did was I picked up a piece of 2x4 by, this is maybe 3 feet long. And this is just an old scrap piece of cedar I have. And I went and bought, looks like 5/8 by 16 inches by 8 feet long, a melamine board, just like a shelving board. And you can see in the background here I've got these 2 garbage bins. Well, these are going to go up in my camp. And the whole idea is, well, I'm not too sure what this idea is yet. Like when I usually build stuff, I build it as I go. I don't have no plans or anything. But these are 21 inches across, both bins, by around 16 high, and it looks like about 14 in depth. So what I'm planning here is, for you that have seen my camp up in Northern Ontario, I keep one of them Coleman 2-gallon jugs on my countertop for fresh water. And you know what? 2 gallons just doesn't cut it. You know, you make a couple of pots of coffee and you're filling that jug up all the time. So I'm going to go with one of them 5-gallon jugs, except I'm going to make a stand. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to make a little bit of a stand here, like this, and mount the 5-gallon jug on top and have my 2 garbage bins underneath. Because I always have 2 garbage bins. I've got one for burnable material and one that's not burnable. And of course, you know, up at my place I built a really nice incinerator to burn all my burnable garbage, and that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be like some kind of a stand that goes up like this, and with a water jug on top. So let's get to it right now. And of course this here is 16 inches, and I don't need 16 inches wide. So I'm going to make it 14 because I've looked at these jugs and they're around 14 and a half inches wide, about 18 inches high. They hold 5 gallons of water. And I'm going to put this on the saw. Let's get started right now. Well, this particular saw right here, it will not cut the whole 16 inches at one shot. So I'll finish it off with the little portable cordless Sawzall, and let's get to it right now. And you can see on this edge here it's not finished, but on the back side it is. So I'll cut to make sure that the finished side is actually the one that I don't destroy with the Sawzall. Let's get to it. Okay, so my total length here is going to be 24 inches, and I'll turn the shop back on first. Let's get to it. Well, as you can see here, it didn't quite make it to the end, so I'll just use the there we go there. Well, the next thing we got to do is we got to actually cut it to 14 inches. So I got this set off to 14 inches. Let's get her cut. Okay, I'll cut the other sheet and I'll bring you back. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is we got to cut a couple of lengths here of 14 inches because the width is 14. So these are going to be a couple of supports, braces. You'll see how these go in, and let's cut that up right now. Okay, let's just rip these 2x4 cedar right in half. Okay, I'll rip the other one in half and I'll bring you back. Well, as you can see behind me here, I got all the pieces all cut. And if you ever watch MASH, when they're talking about meatball surgery, well, this is meatball carpentry. There's nothing special about this. There's nothing fancy. There's no fancy woodworking going on here. It's just strictly meatball carpentry. Going to slap this together. It's going up to my camp. It's not made to look like furniture in a fancy house. So yeah, I'm just going to use these particular style of screws with the head on it. I'm going to fire this all together. I just got to pre-drill some holes first because of course I'm using cedar and I like to pre-drill all my holes first and then put these in. No glue, nothing like that. So far I've spent, including filming, maybe 20 minutes in the shop. That's it. This is very simple to make. If you've made this kind of stuff before, well, it's simpler, right? But for you that have never made stuff like this before, just think it out. And you know, for me, I've done this for years and years and years. So me spending 20 minutes, 25 minutes, that's a lot of time for this. Okay, so let's get to it and let's see how I'm going to put this together. The next step you want to do before you start assembling it is you can see that the edge here is it's rough, right? And if you want to put a nice melamine edge on it, you can just buy a roll of this. It comes in different widths. And you just cut yourself a strip. And I make sure I cut mine at this end here so I know which one goes to the back. So, because I use a square, and make sure this one is really squared. And then we'll put it on top here. And you actually use a regular clothes iron, just for ironing your clothes. And it activates the glue on the back side. And then I'll show you the tool that I use to trim it. So it's very easy to trim. And this takes probably just a couple of minutes each side. I'll show you one. And let me know what you think about this, if you've never seen this before. Okay, so you just kind of line it up. Like I said, I've got this end cut so I know which end is the square end. And you just kind of line it up and center it the best you can. And you're going to have a little bit of overhang on both sides. And then just get your iron. And I have it on the really hot setting. And just put it across the top here, like I'm doing. And just kind of make it as straight as you can possible, going back and forth. And it will activate that glue. And you can see that right there. And I'll just bring it back and forth, probably 3 times, just to make sure it's glued up nice. And I got it really on a high heat here. So I want to make sure that the glue activates good. And that's pretty well it there. I'll let it cool down and then we'll go to the next step, which is trimming it. Well, here's the cutter right here. And as you can see, you can press and it will adjust for the different widths of wood that you're using. And if you take a good close look in there, you can see a couple of nice cutters. So you just, and it's got the arrows here. So you just put it on the outside and you clamp it down and you just push. See that curling out right there? It's just as easy as that. Now, if you like, you can finish it off, and what a lot of people do, you just get a little file here if you like, or if you want a little piece of sandpaper. I find the file is better myself, and that's pretty well it. I mean, it's not the prettiest looking thing, but it finishes the edge off nice, and at the end here, I'll just get the X-Acto knife, cut it off right flush, and then just file it. Well, this is the setup here. I got it all clamped up just on both the ends. I'll do the centers after, but I put all my marks in, and I like to use this type of a square, and all I do is I set it 3/4 of an inch, and as you can see there, I just put a dot. So I'm going to have one screw there and right there, and I did the same on the opposing side. And all I'm going to do now is drill the holes. Now what I did was I made sure that I picked a drill bit that was smaller than the screws, and it'll just be a couple of seconds to just fire these in. So what I'm going to do is put a screw in here, here, and here. Then I can take the clamps off and put in 2 more. So let's take a look and see how that's done. Okay, so here we go. Oh, look at that. Pulled it right out. Okay, more wing wang. Time to get a real drill bit. What a piece of crap. Okay, let's get this one down. There. Okay, now we'll just put in a couple of screws. Just till they touch. That's good right there. And we'll put this one in. Beautiful. Okay, so I am going to put another screw here, another screw here. I'll do all the 4 screws on this side, and I'll bring you back and I'll show you how the next part's going together. Well, there it is right there, all clamped in. And you can see I already put 4 screws in on the right. Now let's just put the other 4 screws in on the left. See how easy this is going together? I mean, this is no problem. Just as easy as that. Now we'll put the top on. Okay, we're in the home stretch here. It's coming together just like I thought. Okay, let's take a look at this thing now. Well, here's the back of it right here, and we'll just do a little tour all the way around. And you can see all them blue screws. Here's the front. And I think there's lots of room here to have access to these. And here's the other side there. And here's the top. Now I don't know what a lot of you think about all them blue screws, but I think it just looks dandy. Well, this is it. She's all complete. Didn't take more than a couple hours out in the shop, and I think it's going to be just fine for what I need. Now, for all of you that are thinking about making something like this, yeah, I had to put this piece on here and this piece on here because you figure 5-gallon water jug on top of here. Could you imagine a 5-gallon water jug on there? It's going to be pretty heavy. So you have to put these supports in here. And the reason why I put the ones in the bottom is because I didn't want it to just to sit on my flooring with just a small little 5/8, because it'll just sink right in over time and make indentations. So you have to beef it up on the bottom here, and it makes it easy to install. It's all done with screws. Very easy project. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again. Let's have some more fun. Cheers.